My name is Mamata, lecturer in economics. I am going to teach economics for class 11 and 12. Today, let's discuss private income. Mase akoina previous class ta togiba national income concepts to adugi makha sum chatharpa basic concepts mayam do aduni adna private income haibase masisu yamna maruoiba national income gi concepts singi manungda amane ngasi private income haibase masi karino haibase amu khanasi. Private income is another important concept of national income aggregates. Private income is defined as the sum of factor incomes earned by households and private enterprises within the domestic territory and from abroad, plus current transfer payments received by them from the government and the rest of the world in a year. And private income haibase masi karino haiba matamda akoi household adagi private enterprises na magi domestic territory da akoi gi chahi amada taliba magi factor income singtuni plus aduga abroad tagi tanba as well as current transfers magi government dagi phangba current transfer payment haibase masi karino haiba matamda ekoina factor services kumba tawbogi phangba paisa nataba akoina labor sacrifice torga service sacrifice torga paisa phangba nataba masi gumba kaimbo involved tawdana government na piba adugumba dubu transfer payment kawi example oina hairabada akogi pension adagi unemployment allowances adagi welfare benefits sigumba sibo transfer payment kawi aduna akoina private income da yauriba components singse amukana phajana khanasi masi kari karino haiba matamda amage household adagi private enterprises se masina domestic territory dagi as well as abroad dagi tanba mage factor income sing plus mage government dagi phangba transfer payments sing adagi plus akogi rest of the world dagi phangba transfer payment do masigi total amount of income se masineba private income hairese. Thus, private income represents both the factor incomes earned and current transfer payments received by the households and the private enterprises of a country in a year. Ana isam samna private income na represent toribase karino haibada factor incomes as well as current transfer payment ni kanan phangba household na the private enterprises na country du daida chahi amada phangba magi income singdo aduni. Thus private income consists of three components adu orboidi akoina private income se da components da kari kari yauge habdo adu mugengsi. Number 1, the part of the domestic product accruing to the private sector. This represents the factor incomes earned by household and private enterprises working within the domestic territory of a country. Masida quite ahamba component the yaudibasi akogi domestic product private na puthokpa area do madu yaure machine represent toribasi akogi household ade private enterprises na domestic territories daida chahi amada tanba magi income do adu yaure. Are number 2, the net factor income earned from abroad by households and private enterprises of a country. Aikoina ahambada aina previous class tasu explain tawgiba aikoina net ena hek harboidi karigumba figure ani gi difference lorobani habito madu ningsengadabani ani suba component yauriba aikoina net factor income earned from abroad by households and private enterprises of country habisi karino haba matamda akogi national singsina foreign da thabak suri adudagi paisa tale adagidi foreign national samsu india da thabak suri adudagi moina paisa tanki net factor income habise masidai da pallibase figure ani se masigi difference lorbo figure do aduni net factor income earned from abroad by households and private enterprises of country habise arigi aum subasina current transfer payments received from the government including interest on public debt. Ahum subada yauri basina akogi government na transfer payment oina piba transfer payment habidi karino magi pension arigi unemployment allowance kumba arigi welfare benefits kumba masi aruga interest on public debt habidi government da paisa san bagi government na piba interest to madu adu yaurbani third components da aruga mari suba components dena kaiyawi net current transfer payments received from the rest of the world masidai dasu su akoina net haiba wahai ama palibanina akoigi country na su top country sing darkar laiba country sing sidaida mateng pangbagi tawi sumai tawduna rest of the world na su India da mateng mayam ama pangi and net current transfer payments received from the rest of the world haibase akoigi country India na mingonda pangi baduga mina pangakpado adugi ani dugi difference loroba figure do aduni aruga masigi mathangda aikoina khangadabasi kano personal income haibase kaino. Personal income is another important national concept which represents the sum of all incomes actually received by households and persons from all sources. Even the whole of the private income is not actually received by the households and individuals. Personal income haibasna karino haiba matamda masina represent tawribase household sing ade individual persons na all sorts of all sources of income says sidagi all sources sidagi tanba income do aduni aikona private income se masigi whole part of the private income se masi akoi household sing are individual sing na tanjarbo su whole part se masi phangde household sing na adagi individual sing na karino amuk yangsi even the whole of the private income is not actually received by the household and individuals na haire ado kari no mana phangdriba se kadubogi phangdriba no haibido ado amuk yangse ba haibidi private income se kanana tangiba no haiba matamda agoi private enterprises sing aragi individual singna household singna tangibani hena koi matakta discuss tawre ara personal income haina ama amuk laibalisna personal income se masina akoigi household sing ari individual singna akoigi mana all source tagi tanba magi income duni chahi amada aina haireba aduga moina private income da tangiba whole portion do moina phangde havne kari no phangdriba se there are two types of such income which though earned by individuals in the household are not actually received by them. First, the undistributed profits of the private corporate enterprises are not received by the consuming households or persons because they are retained by the corporate enterprises for their future expansion. They are generally called saving of the corporate enterprises. Aikoina matangs daida karigumba kara explain tawge aikoige private enterprises se masina aikoige shareholders mayam pulani moise linkhat minarani aduga masi production tawrak kanda mage tan ba whole profit se masi loita yen thokte ba some part of the profit se kamaina tawge have matamda mase undistributed profit ena thamme ba whole profit se some part of the profit se masi undistributed profit ena thamme undistributed profit ena thammi base masi karigino haiba matamda aikoige companies na tungda expansion darkar leiba magi building expansion gi bo hairo adig output expand tawna ba akoigi machines and tools leinana ba any darkar lerpa matamda mase common fund oina thambadune ba profit age masi kamai tawge haiba matamda kari koge haiba matamda saving of the corporate enterprises kowe aruga in other words na undistributed profit size machine machine akoige household adagi individuals na masi puthokpada moi yaugraboisu masi part se masima phangdre adagi atopa part amasu phangdeba atopa part ama phangdribado maduna karino haibado madu amuk yengseba. There are similar foreign companies operating in the domestic territory of a country. Therefore, in national income accounting, retained earnings of the foreign companies which are sent abroad by these companies are deducted from the saving of the domestic private corporate enterprises to obtain net savings of the private corporate sectors of a country. Aduga matang say da atopa part ama household na phangde habado madu discuss tawdringai matang mamang da masigi matang sida khangna hose akoina domestic territory da ngasa akwai previous class da akoina gross domestic product ki matang da khanaba matam da domestic territory da leiriba enterprises sing se masi Indian national na own tobasu leramgani argo foreign national sing sina own toba companies mayam amasu leramgani moina aduga domestic territory da production process na mosu contributory factor services mayam se masi sacrifice torini aduna high riba akogi foreign national sing na own toba company sing do enterprises to maduna earn toba profit sing do adudi moi asom moi leibak ta thagi doine ba moi leibak ta thagi doini aduna net savings of the private corporate sector haibase karino haiba matamda akogi domestic territories da leirba akoi Indian national singna own toba private enterprises to aduna saving toba magi profit to aduga som the foreign national singna own toba enterprises to aduna profit earn toba mojo part of the profit asom the thagi bado ani dugi difference to figure ani do madugi difference to logo tabani difference to lower figure do adu buna kari koge have the net savings of the private corporate sector ko heba high riba masigi part of the profits masidi masidai da port puthok pada yaw mi angai do maduna phangroi madi kano common saving oina thamgrabane ba arigi mathang da second da the part of the profits of private corporate enterprises are paid as corporation tax to the government. Therefore, the sum of money paid as corporation tax to the government is not received by the consumer, households, and persons. On deducting the above two items, namely net savings of the corporate enterprises and a corporation tax from private income, we arrive at personal income. Arige atopa amano mugi ngese ba koina haire whole profit se yendade some part of the profits na kari undistributed profit aduga net corporate savings na common fund oina thamgra arige atopa part of the profit se masina corporation tax na port of se puthokpa matamda government na kadawi akoi production unit se masta tax laweba ma tax lo se masi corporation tax koi masi karai dagi thige haiba matamda mage profit earn torpodo arge samna undistributed profit ena thamgre arge certain parts of the profit che masina corporation tax na government da pigreba government da pigrabna high riba portion se so ngasai puthokpada yawriba my shareholders sing do aduna phangde haba aduna whole mage private income se masi loina akogi personal income se lakpa matamda phangde habatu matang sida clear oina khanghoro kaidobogi phangdribano haiba matamda common fund oina thamgre aruga khara amana government da tax oina thigre remaining parts of the profit to aduneba ngasagi household da dagi private individual da maina yandharibato aduna personal income se masi kamai tongna phangadagi haiba matamda ekoina khange madu on deducting the above two items namely net savings of the corporate enterprises and corporation tax from the private income we derive at personal income haina haire adna akoina personal income se madudi kaiga manarge hai matamda formula da personal income is equal to private incomes minus net saving of private corporate enterprises minus corporation tax se masiga managane haiba akoge personal income se sige mathangda akoina personal income se masi khangra matangda atopa another term personal disposable income haibase masi amu khangseba step by step tapna sum khangji karai da kari da kai da khenarake haibase kaino hayeng calculation da lakpa matamda akogi confused che chatna ba akoina hambada amu private income dagi personal income na amuk handai kari changda handai habado adu phajana khangamane na khali akoina discuss tograbani masigi matungda akogi personal income ga personal disposable income ga se karai da kamaina khenare ino kari handage habado adu amuk yengseba personal disposable income. The entire personal income is not available for spending by the households and the person. Akogi personal income loy makse mase household na mage spending tongna ba household da dagi missing individual persons do aduna phang deba whole personal income se masi ka do baino si mug yang seba This is because a part of personal income is taken away by government through laying personal direct taxes such as income tax, gift tax, arge high riba magi personal whole personal income se sidagi amuk government na amuk tax ne na amuk logre kai tax no income tax ne gift tax ne haina amuk logre ba akoi individuals agi dege household agi. In addition to personal direct taxes, personal income tax is also reduced by miscellaneous receipts obtained from the households and persons by governments, administrative departments. Aduga aikona income tax adagi gift tax ni haina thigraba matung daso akoge governments ki administrative departments masisna amu makal maka kya ge akoge miscellaneous oiba macha mayam amu akoge household dagi my individual dagi amu lowrieba ado kari no haiba matamda amu gieng seba. This miscellaneous government receipts include education tax, adagi fire tax, adagi sanitation tax, and fees and fines collected by the government departments. Dagi masigi matakta akoina khangadobse income tax tigre are gift tax tigre sina loide sigi matungda macha mayam government gi administrative department se masi daida mina mayam tiga dabam lai kari no akoi lari tambagi fees magi tax laire aragi di electricity gi tax akoi gi tiga daba tax masi ju tiga dabu laire aragi municipalities na akoi gi magi amount akai phazana maintain toba khumdok piba sigum bagi amuk fees amuk lawre ari sometimes akoina rule gumba violate toba matamda akoina fine thi sigumba amuk fine thi base masigi mayam amuk thi greba akoina mase private income dagi amuk personal income lai personal income maina household da phangaba matamda household na loin spending gi magi phangde kari amuk khaido ke habdo masi singsin haba khaido ise amuk ana ningsang se personal incomes dagi khaido ibase kari khaido e akoi indirect tax khaido e adagidi masigi matamda gift tax kaise masi khaido e adagidi education fees adagi so many tax akoina hospital gadda ana baga layeng ba khorpa adugi so fees adagidi electricity thaliba masigi fees adagi municipality da sanitation fees adagi sigi sumathakta akoina karigumba rule ga karigumba violate toba matamda akoina fine gain thibado masi mayam sidagi personal income se masigi mayam se chidokre neba adoidi lemhori se kaino kari no ba personal disposable income na lehori se masi ungiyeng seba adurabadi personal disposable income haibse masi kari gamanage haiba matamda personal income dei kai khaido kane personal direct taxes khaido ani minus miscellaneous receipts of government administrative departments masi neba nakoige personal disposable income se masi aduna formula the ningsango amuka hanna ningsanga se amuka na personal disposable income is equal to personal income minus personal direct taxes minus miscellaneous receipts of government administrative department. In other words, personal disposable income is the amount of personal income which is available to the household for consumption and saving have never isam samna harbada kuna personal disposable income have say karino have the amount of personal income ni masina household da consumption ga saving ga gi damak ta phangiba amount to aduni have never ko for today let's do up to this only. See you in the next class. Thank you.